We are very happy to welcome Godelnik. He's with us. I'd like to thank you again on behalf of our team. And actually, I introduced you at the beginning of this opening ceremony and speech, but for the newcomers, I would like to introduce you once again. Godelnik is an assistant professor of strategic design and management at Parsons School of Design, where he explores sustainable business models and how companies can respond effectively to the climate crisis. Currently, you serve as an associate director of the BBA Strategic Design and Management Program, and your new book, Rethinking Corporate Sustainability in the Era of Climate Crisis, a Strategic Design Approach, has recently been published by Palgrave Macmillan in this July. So thanks again for the contributions, and now the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Great to be here. And without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. Let's make sure that it works. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. Great. So very excited to be here. I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes and then open it for questions. Look forward to the discussion. So this is the topic that I chose for the discussion, really thinking about what's the designers, what should be the designers' top agenda for this decade. And from my point of view, it's about redesigning sustainable innovation. So I want to hope today to leave you with three key takeaways. The first is moving away from sustainability as usual. The second one is the importance of developing new narratives. And the third one is focusing on generating excitement. My starting point is urgency. And the urgency is around the climate crisis, which for everyone in this room and outside this virtual room is going to be the most critical driver of our life. And we see more and more indications of the urgency. Hearing, for example, from climate scientists just a couple of days ago that the chances that we pass the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming is going much higher, and we're probably going to see it in the next couple of years. And it's not just about forecast. I mean, only a couple of days ago, right, we all heard this news, right, from India and Pakistan about another very extreme heat wave. And I want really to focus on the people here, because there are people already all over the world that feel and suffer because of the climate crisis. And I think we all need to have them in mind as we think about how do we try really to address it effectively. So with that urgency in mind, that's really what drove me to write this book. This notion that I've been exploring sustainability in business for many years, and while we see progress, what we see is still not enough. It's not enough to address the climate crisis. It's not enough to address it, especially through the lenses of social justice. So I decided that it's time to sit down and write my version of what I think a new story of how do we move towards a more desired future should look like. So what's the current story looks like? So the current story is very much about what I call sustainability as usual. We have been shifting over the last decade from this notion of business as usual, the ideas of Milton Friedman that the social responsibility of businesses to increase its profits, and sustainability has become more and more a normative part of every business practices and strategy. But at the same time, it's still very much grounded in that shareholder capitalism mindset that is putting profits and growth first. And so what we have is eventually this sustainability as usual mindset that I'm going to share a couple of key characteristics of this mindset with you. So essentially, it's about companies doing what they can, not what they need to do. It's very much voluntary based all around the world. There's lack of clear sustainability context. What is it that companies actually, what's the bar that companies need to meet? Many times it's vague. There are no clear benchmarks, and there's no clear sense of urgency, which again is becoming more crucial, especially with the climate crisis in mind. So the outcome eventually, in most cases, is very incremental progress, and again, very far from what we need to see. And I want to share with you just a couple of examples of what does it look like. So this is one of my favorite examples. This is coming from Heinz, and I'm not a big ketchup fan, but it's very popular product, and Heinz came up with this news. Very excited about it about a year ago, that they managed to design and produce a recyclable cap for the ketchup bottle. And you can see here how much was invested in it, more than 185,000 hours, investing more than $1 million. And overall, a lot of effort was put in what essentially is nothing more than just a cap in a single-use bottle. So from my point of view, this is the sort of the poster child of what incremental progress looks like. Interestingly, only yesterday, Kraft Heinz came up with a new step forward, saying that it's moving to, it's now prototyping a new type of ketchup bottle that is paper-based, and it's going to be made from 100% sustainably sourced wood pulp. And the CEO was very excited, saying that, we're applying creativity and innovation to explore new ways to provide consumers with the products they know and love, while also thinking sustainably. So I would say, yeah, this is a progress, but still, if we're still, thinking about how to make single-use packaging better, I think we're moving in the wrong direction, because essentially, let's say you're able to reduce the footprint of a ketchup bottle by 50%. Just thinking about the growth of the use of, or the growth in the production of these ketchup bottles, right? Eventually, it's going to eliminate any progress that you're going to see. And so the question essentially is not just how do you reduce the carbon footprint per one ketchup bottle, but also how do you reduce the number of ketchup bottles that you produce. And this solution is not solving it. So from my perspective, it's better than what we saw earlier, but it's still far from being sufficient. Another example comes from Starbucks. This is 2018. Starbucks very excited to show its latest design innovation, where it has decided to eliminate the straws in its that it has been using many years, and it says it marks significant milestone in the company's 30-year history in sustainable innovations. But again, this is just a straw, and the straws overall I think are around 4% of the overall waste that the company is producing. The cup is still a single-use cup. So the bottom line is that this is a very incremental progress. This year, Starbucks is moving forward and is trying to actually to promote reusable cups. And this is from March this year, and the company is sharing that is trying to move towards pushing customers to use more reusable cups, and to some extent is trying also to figure out how to eliminate the single-use cup. So again, much better from what we saw in 2018, right? This is not just about the straws. We're looking at the cup overall, but still too slow and not clear when, if and when the single-use cup will eventually be eliminated. So better than Kraft Heinz, but not good enough. And what we see here is not just a failure of imagination. I think it's important as designers and thinking about, you know, what strategic design as the conversation was, what does it help us to understand? It's the need really to dig deeper, to think in terms of mental model, and what's the mental model that these designs are grounded in, subjected to. Dan Hill, the director of the design school in Melbourne, has this quote that I like, that basically we can think about mental models as either springboards or cages. And my sense is that the current mental model in business that is very much reflection, or still reflection, of shareholder capitalism, putting profits first, is creating that cage that eventually is generating this incremental progress, incremental sustainable innovations. So I think for us, for designers, it's really critical to think about how do we move right away from sustainability as usual, and how do we do it now? And as I describe and present more in detail in my book, it's really about crafting a new vision that starts with a new mental model, that is about changing the dynamics between sustainability and profits, and putting sustainability first, shifting to a sustainability first mindset. And you can see it with, you know, now that alludes to the urgency. And this is really a critical shift. You start with sustainability, not with the profit considerations. And that type of different mental model is also going eventually, hopefully, to change the outcome from incremental, right, from 10% change to 10x. And it comes with also with understanding or clarifying and articulating sustainability in terms of its or grounding it in science, right? Think about what sustainability actually stands for. And you can see here that the principles that I shared that are the outcome of many years of scientific research about what sustainability is actually about, and contextualizing it, right? Thinking about, you know, what's the glue that will put together these principles in a way that would make sense. And for me, this is very much about social justice and regenerative design. These are the critical components that will help us, you know, just make sense and move forward in an effective and bolder ways. And I'm going to just share two designs that I find to be interesting examples of how do we move forward. On the right side, you see this is Airbnb. This is a way or an effort to reimagine what, for example, an Airbnb would look like if it was to be created as a cooperative, where not just the host and makes money and the company, but also the community is making money. The revenues are going also to the community to support housing projects. And Also, small business owners that are also part of the community are also part of the cooperative. So it's a very different thinking about how do we prioritize the needs of the community? How do we prioritize social and critical elements to ensure that we create a positive social impact while providing this service? On the right, you see, we talked about Kraft Heinz. This is coming from Chile, and this is Algramo, a very successful innovation that is trying really to reimagine what filling stations would look like. And it started really with social justice in mind, thinking about how do you bring these mobile stations to lower income neighborhoods in Santiago de Chile to enable them to refill refill different bottles. Here it's with laundry detergent and other cleaning supplies, and really enable a very effective and also, I would say, delightful user experience while eliminating waste, right? This is really about how do you reuse packaging rather than just thinking in terms of recycling. So it started with sustainability, with social justice in mind, and it's really going well and has very interesting collaborations with large companies and is already available in different supermarket chains in Europe. Overall, when we think about mental models, it's really about, okay, we want to change them, but how do we do it? And for me, it's really about thinking about the power of narratives, the power of stories. This, as Dr. Mariana Mirabel suggests, when we write stories, are shaping our mental models, which in return they shape what we see, and then what we see shapes what we do, and eventually the world that we create. And the lesson here, from my point of view, is that to win the battle over climate change, you need first to win the battle of narratives. And I characterize the narrative that we need to see, that we need to create, as ones that are more meaningful, that rewild our imagination, that empower us, that help us to understand our agency, that are centered around our well-being in the present, not just in the future, and overall are really, about the impacts that are relatable and that we can be feel connected to. So here's one example of this is from Extinction Rebellion, that help reframe and reshape the narrative of climate change and reframe it around climate as a climate crisis. And I think the fact that climate crisis has become such now a common framework in the discourse is very much because of them, of their work. And I would also say very, a work that has also been very design oriented and with a lot of detail to the visual language that they're using. Here's, on the other end, a challenge, right? And when we think about narratives, and this is a quote from Nellie Cohen, who's working on circular solutions, the idea that while we see more and more efforts to change and redefine our relationship with used things, we haven't yet been able to change, to redefine the relationship with new things, right? We see it especially with fast fashion, with the rise of ultra fast fashion companies like Shein. This is really a challenge. How do we redefine the relationship with new things and help more people understand how the current relationships that we have, as exemplified by fast fashion, are just unsustainable and unhealthy to the planet, and also to people, to all the people that are part of the supply chains of the companies involved in fast fashion. So in order to, it's not enough just to define narratives, new narratives. We need also narrative fighters. We need those that will take these narratives and will help disseminate them, and will help, you know, just making them more common, and fight for them, because there's also, it's nothing is happening in vacuum, right? We need to understand that the new narratives will have to fight with the current narratives and overcome them. And in order to do that, we need narrative fighters. So here are a couple of examples, and you can see here that narrative fighters could have different roles, right? On the left, you can think about activists inside and outside companies that are, for example, trying to promote narratives around unionization or about bolder climate policies and practices. You can think about community organizers and thinking about, for example, here, different organizations and groups of creatives, whether these are creatives for climates or architects, climate action networks, or clean creatives that bring together creative people to help challenge the places they work for, their, you know, their overall work, and really how to prioritize sustainability in new ways. Innovators are also trying to really help push new type of narratives, and whether it's about circular economy, but really more meaningful one. Or you can see here, Sector 6 is a startup from California that is trying to bring regenerative design into fashion in new and interesting ways by creating partnerships with farmers that are adopting regenerative practices. And finally, we have also norm entrepreneurs, people that are fighting to redefine what sustainable consultancies should be about, what here you can see on the left, Maxine Bidat fighting to really think about the role of regulation in fashion, and how that, you know, should change the power dynamics in the fashion industry, and others like Ralph in the middle here, that is working really to fight against, you know, some of the you know, some of the ESG bubble that we hear hear a lot about, but really, I mean, has very little substance when you dig deeper into it. Now, the last part is really to think about the excitement factor. I mean, one problem that we have is that sustainable innovation is just not exciting enough. Think about what, you know, not necessarily what you're excited. I'm sure you're excited about sustainable innovation, but think about what people who may not be right part of this circle of this group are excited about. They're probably excited about, you know, some, you know, the TikTok videos that they watch, and I mean the TikTok phenomenon overall. They may be excited about cryptocurrencies and NFTs, right, and other types of digital currencies and trends. But how many people are actually excited about sustainability? And the problem here is that we have problems, right, just articulating what's, you know, what a sustainable future look like, and do it in a way that will excite people about that future. And second, we have a problem really in creating innovations that will help us move towards that desired future, that innovations that will excite people about what they offer them. And so I think that this is really critical, because we need excitement to create scale. We need excitement to create impact. We need excitement to create the buy-in of many more people in order to help us move towards a more desired future, and in order to be able to address the urgency of the climate crisis in a meaningful and effective way. So again, my quest for you is to think about how do we develop new solutions, new innovations that, you know, that could that could excite not only us, but other people, and hopefully many more as well. And with that, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to share my thoughts, and I look forward to hearing any questions that you have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being us today. Do we have any questions? Any contributions? Let me check the chat box. I think no.
Hello, can I jump in?
Sure, Onur.
Yeah, hi Raz, thank you for an inspiring presentation. And I'm curious about your perspective on NFTs. Is it a new way of the capitalism, or is it a free mindset zone? And what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that, NFTs, like many other technologies, they have potential to make some positive changes, but I think that, again, the mindset, right, that is applied to the development, to the use of NFT is perhaps the wrong mindset, because it's very much structured in a mindset that it's structured in, in a more capitalist type of mindset that is trying to think about profit creation and overall monetization in ways that are not sustainable. And we can see it first and foremost, right, with the growing use of energy around the production of NFTs, as well as other type of tools like cryptocurrencies. I think that the question, I mean, the problem is there. We want to enable artists and creatives to to be able to live with and be able to produce creative work. But I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it, or at least if it's based on the right principles. I think that if we could apply a different mindset, perhaps this could be an interesting solution. But right now, with the mindset applied to it, I'm afraid it's not going in the right direction.
Yeah, thank you so much. I agree with you.
Thank you, Onur. Actually, it's a question in my mind also. I mean, the future of design work, to experience everything in the virtual world and then to experience them in the real world. I mean, something is missing in between. So maybe a bridge should always be from the beginning till the end, so that you experience both worlds at the same time. So, I mean, I don't know how we can operate it. And I'm also thinking, as being an academician, on the other hand, how to integrate this to our design courses, how to make students to understand working and setting up their mind, maybe quoting your works to be mental models, how to set that mental models. What do you think, Raz? I mean, how can we make that bridge? The design work, design studies, and all of these, the metaverse, all those events. What do you advise us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the bridge between the digital world and the physical world is interesting, because the question that I would ask is if and how the digital world can help us overcome the challenges, right, in the physical world. Because no matter how exciting we are about new horizons, I mean, eventually, right, if if you're living in an area where there's an extreme heat, right, it doesn't matter how much you enjoy the metaverse, right, you're still suffering from extreme heat. So you need to figure out how to work it out. The same goes, I mean, with communities, right? We want people to be part of communities. Communities create resilience. Communities are really a powerful way to figure out how to move forward together, and how to to address these challenges together. So I think also, can you help, you know, the online communities to also create more more resilience and more communities in the physical world. And finally, to your question about, I mean, from my perspective, it's about experiences. It's about enabling students, designers to experience. I'll give just one example. Maybe Onur remembers when he was a student, one of my favorite assignments was that I gave to the students was called practical sustainability, personal sustainability practice. And the idea was to help students take part of the life that is not sustainable and work on it, and see for themselves the challenges and the opportunities. And the idea eventually wasn't just to figure out how can you reduce your footprint, or how can you, become, just, a member of your community, but it was about changing the mindset. Because once you start thinking about, sustainability, relating to it, understanding it from a personal point of view, it also changes you as a person, right? And I think once it changes you as a person, you also start seeing the bigger picture. You also start seeing the connections, right? It helps you think that it is a systemic issue, but that you have agency, that you can, that you can, in what are the ways where you can make a difference. And I think overall, it's about empowering people. And I think our job is really to figure out how to empower, our students, to understand their agency, and also really use it well to enable, bolder and greater changes in their work and their impact.
Okay, thank you. Anybody who wants to say something, add something?
Actually, I have a very practical question to Raz. I mean, it's apart from the topic of this conversations. I really wonder how he finds time to write a book. I think that's the main question.
That's a good question. The answer is sabbatical. If it wasn't for sabbatical, then I wouldn't have time. Yeah, it's you're right. I mean, you know it well. When educators are too busy with the day-to-day work. But yeah, unfortunately, I had the opportunity to have a sabbatical, and I use it really to try to finalize the book, and I'm happy that is out there, and I hope that it will also serve the students and help them figure out their own path forward.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks Hocam, Osman Hocam. Any other guests, participants who want to add anything, what you want to say about design, your profession, related all of the topics, maybe all of the listener presentations, maybe regarding them all? Anything you want to say? No, nothing. Well, maybe Hazal, we can present the certificate, our digital certificate for the memory of today. Yes, we're very happy that you were with us. We hope a very nice day for you, because I know that it is nearly 10 a.m. morning there, but we're in the evening. So this is just to thank you and to certify that you have presented sustainable business models at our design thinking panel, which we organized Designhub-IST Design Training and Center with the contributions of ENTA, one of the contributors of this project, Industrial Designers Association. And for the memory of today, on behalf of our Design Hub team, I want to introduce your certificate to you. So we will welcome you, of course, personally, and we will be very happy if you will be with us in the following days. And also, Andrea, I think now she's not with us. This is an open call to you. Thanks, Raz.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, good luck and take care.
Thank you. So for all the participants, would you like to say anything? Maybe you want to, now I think this is the end of all the presentations, and now it's time to talk in between us just to make a network. You can introduce yourselves, you can say anything you want regarding design. You can ask questions to each other. So we're just here to talk all of these issues. Because actually we separated a free time for this changing ideas, sharing ideas, talking on design thinking. Actually, the participants presented the topic from their own point of views. So you can be from another profession and you can think something different than design, or you may have a novel idea about it. If you want to share it, we welcome, of course, all of these brilliant ideas and views regarding design. Yes, please.
Banu Hocam, Türkçe'ye dönebilirim herhalde. Ekranda bakıyorum, kimse kalmadı.
Tabii ki Zeynep Hanım. Buyurun lütfen.
Teşekkürler. Evet. Ben bir elektrik mühendisiyim bu arada. Benim için çok enteresan, coşku dolu bir tasarımdı. Benim çünkü meslek icabı tasarımla alakam bir noktada aydınlatma ürünlerinin tasarımı, bir de aydınlatmanın kendi tasarımı üzerineydi. O yüzden ben bütün katılımcılara çok teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Benim ufkumu açan, gerçekten vizyon katan çok değerli sunumlar paylaştılar. Herkesin emeğine ve ellerine sağlık. Tasarımın ne kadar hayatımızdaki önemi ve gittikçe artan değerini de bir kez daha anlamış oldum. Çok çok teşekkürler herkese.
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Hem katılımınız için hem dediğim gibi Agit olarak da katkılarınız için hem de baştan beri bu projeye inandığınız için. Yani aslında Zeynep Hanım, tasarım hakikaten gününüzü tasarlamak, hayatınızı tasarlamak. Tasarım öyle güzel bir kelime ki, öyle büyük bir kelime ki hepimizin gün içinde mutlaka kullandığımız bir kelime ya da hepimizin aslında aşina olduğu bir kelime. Burada bizi buluşturan tabii bir ürün tasarlamak, bir süreç tasarlamak, tasarladığımız süreci deneyimlemek, o deneyimden öğrenmek ve daha iyisini tasarlamak. O nedenle aslında tasarımın katma değerini yükseltmek ve onu yaptığımız noktada yaratıcılıkla bunu beslemek. Biz ne kadar ki bunu aslında disiplinler arası birbirimizden öğrenerek, motive olarak yaparsak ve bu ağı ve bağı güçlendirirsek, ben inanıyorum ki o kadar bizden ileriye ve de belki geriye daha iyi bir hayat kalır. O zaman işte sustainability, evet konuşuruz ama yapmış oluruz, daha çok şey üretmiş oluruz. Onun için ben de diliyorum ki Designhub-İST bu anlamda güzel ortamlar yaratmaya bir vesile olur, sizleri buluşturmaya bir vesile olur, bizlerin sizden öğrenmesine bir vesile olur. Onun için ben bugün çok teşekkür ediyorum katılan herkese, bize değerli vaktini ayıran herkese, bugünü tasarlarken içine bizi koyan herkese çok sağ olun. İstanbul'dan, Kadir Has Üniversitesi'nden hepinize teşekkür ediyorum. Hem fakültem adına, hem Designhub ekibi adına, arkadaşlarımın adına sağ olun.